angels, welcome to episode 4 of Q&A Friday, where I answer the questions you have on femininity and queen consciousness. If you have a question you would like me to answer, you can leave it down below in the comments, or you can send me an email and I will answer your question on the next episode. So let's look at the questions I have for today. What do I do if my parents do not respect my boundaries? Okay, so this came from a video I did a while ago on how to identify signs of a toxic parent. Okay, so what do you do if they don't respect your boundaries? Firstly, they could be toxic. Okay, so you need to look at other signs, evaluate their behavior, evaluate the relationship you have with them to determine if they are toxic or not. Okay, so once you've done all of this work and you've determined that they are toxic, which I think they probably are, because a healthy parent respects boundaries, because they probably have boundaries themselves and they respect your boundaries. That is what makes the relationship healthy. Okay, so if you look at the situation, you look at your parents, you look at their behaviors and the signs, and you realize that they're actually toxic, now you need to work on an exit strategy or a plan. Unfortunately, you cannot change toxic people, and you should not be changing yourself to accommodate toxic people. So the only way you are going to be satisfied and happy and live a happy life is by being rid of toxic people. And you can only do that if you have an exit plan and a strategy that you need to work on. And it begins with financial freedom. So you need to work on a plan that allows you to be financially free, so that you are no longer dependent on them. And if you are no longer dependent on them, they cannot control you. They cannot step over your boundaries. They cannot do these things to you because you are no longer dependent on them, and you have exited, or you have a plan that allows you to live separately from them. I hope this makes sense. There's a lot more detail that goes into this, obviously, and maybe I will do another video on that later on. But for now, in general, in broad terms, this is what you need to do. Identify if they are toxic. Once you've identified that they are toxic, work on an exit plan and strategy. And lastly, financial freedom. Okay? The next question is, what is queen consciousness if I had to explain it to somebody for the first time? This is a good question. Queen consciousness is a mindset. It's a way of life. It's a set of standards in which you live and conduct your life. So this is a mindset. It's the mindset that you adopt in terms of everything you do, how you think, how you act, what you do in your daily life, your habits, the people you surround yourself with, the things you spend your time and your energy on, the self-work that you do. All of these things which lead up to your lifestyle. So this is what a queen consciousness is all about. It's about a way of life that allows you to live the best life you possibly can by adopting a mindset that supports that. Okay, I hope that makes sense. The next question is, how do I apply queen consciousness to my life as a beginner? Okay, this is a good question, because a lot of us are not brought up with a queen conscious mindset, and we learn it later on in our lives, and we would like to apply it, obviously. The first thing you need to do is self-awareness. It begins with self-awareness, where you need to look at yourself and see what your conditioning is, see what your programming is. Once you've identified your conditioning and your programming, you can take steps towards changing it. And then once you change it, you can download the queen conscious mindset you should have, and then you can go about your life with this new program. Okay, so it begins with changing your beliefs and your belief systems and your conditioning. Then you need to study and apply what you learn. So you need to study queen conscious women. You need to study what they do, their behaviors. You need to watch channels like this one, which is, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe now, so that you can be updated every time I release a new video on queen consciousness and you can learn more. Okay, so study people who teach queen consciousness and then apply. It's no point you just study it and you keep it in your mind or in your book, or you write it down but you don't apply it. You need to apply it in your life. Okay, the next thing is consistency. So now it needs to become a habit. You need to be consistent in your mindset, consistent in your queen conscious lifestyle. You cannot just do it one day and forget about it the next day, and then do it next week, and then again next month. It needs to be your way of life every single day. It needs to be consistent, okay? And then as you make it consistent, it becomes a lifestyle. And once it's a lifestyle, and once you live a queen conscious lifestyle, you have fully understood the values of it. And by then you should have seen the effects of it already in your life, in terms of the quality of relationships you attract, your abundance in finances, the people you surround yourself with. All of these things contribute to living a queen conscious lifestyle. And the next question is, how do I teach my daughter Queen Consciousness? I've only learned this information recently, and I would like her to know this information from a young age. How do I teach my daughter Queen Consciousness? Good question. So the first thing you need to do is model this behavior, model Queen Consciousness by you being a Queen Conscious woman, because she's going to learn the best, and she's going to copycat from you by watching what you do. Okay, so it's not so much what you say to her, it's about what you do. So she's going to copy what you do. Therefore, you need to be a Queen Conscious woman yourself. Secondly, you need to break the cycles and conditioning. So sometimes our old conditioning and our old programming can creep in, where you see yourself acting out or doing behaviors that your parents have done, or that other people have done, that don't quite serve you, or that don't quite serve your child in the best way. You need to be self-aware enough to identify it when it happens, stop, and then stop. Okay, stop doing that behavior immediately, and then replace it with something that is more constructive or more in line with Queen Consciousness. Also, talking and open conversations about it. So being open with her and allowing her to come to you and discuss with you certain things she doesn't understand. So as you know, with our parents, we were not allowed to discuss certain things. Certain topics were taboo. We are not allowed to express our feelings or our emotions around certain things. So we instead learned on our own. We learned the hard way. We burnt our fingers. We made mistakes. We did things that maybe we are not very proud of. Okay, so you need to change that cycle and break that cycle by allowing her to come to you. And when she comes to you with issues or problems that she's going through, find a way to deal with it and educate her through a Queen Conscious manner. So if she's saying to you, you know what, I'm having problems with my friends, we don't quite get along, I want to do this and they want to do that, we don't see eye to eye, then you explain to her, or you teach her from a Queen Conscious point of view. So you will say to her, not everybody should be allowed to be in your life. Some people don't lead the kind of lifestyle that you would like to live. Some people will lead you astray because they don't quite have the beliefs that you have. Some people, you need to consider who you surround yourselves with. Some people are toxic. How to identify toxic friends. Okay, how to identify the people you want to surround yourself with, because you will determine that by looking at their lives. You will surround yourself with people you want to be like. Okay, people you look up to, people you admire, right? The next thing is you need to encourage growing and learning. So it's a normal, natural thing to grow, to learn, to evolve. And as you do that, you will make mistakes, but then you learn from it. Okay, so you encourage that behavior. You don't shut her down. You don't tell her she's wrong, for doing certain things. You don't bash her. You don't make her feel less than for making mistakes. Instead, you teach her not to repeat the mistakes. You teach her something that is going to benefit her and something she can keep with her for the rest of her life, so that she can let go of the pain of that process and keep the lessons moving forward. But sometimes we shame our children. In our cases, our parents would shame us for mistakes we've made, and therefore we get stuck with that hurt. We keep that pain and we store that pain into our pain bodies, and then we don't learn from those mistakes because we are holding on to the pain and the shame that we have because of this mistake that we have made. And lastly, you need to make it a lifestyle. You need to make Queen Consciousness a lifestyle that she can model into her own life as she becomes an adult. Okay, so if it's a lifestyle for you, and if she grows up with this as a lifestyle for her, it will only be normal and natural for her to accept it as a lifestyle. And therefore the cycle will be broken, because if it's a lifestyle for her, she will model that lifestyle to her children and so on. Okay, so that is how you teach your daughter Queen Consciousness. I hope that made sense to you. So those are all the questions I have for today. Don't forget, if you have a question, leave it down below in the comments and I will answer it in the next Friday Q&A. Please subscribe to my channel by clicking this round icon right here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.